G'day, my name's Duncan Free, Director of the Sports College at Griffith University. I hope you're doing alright during these times of isolation and restrictions, particularly around training and how to keep active during those times. And we're creating a series of video content for you guys to help motivate you and assist you along with that, including strength and conditioning, some general fitness, nutrition, well-being, and also physiotherapy. Because it's really important that during this time when you're training by yourself and doing, adaptive training, that you do keep, the range of movement, your flexibility, and lower your risk of injury. And particularly when you get back into your sport, and the load will go through the roof when you're back in your daily training environment, that you don't get really injured then. So it's really important to work on that now in preparation for that. So we hope you enjoy. And Nick Marshall from our Griffith Physio Clinic will be leading these series and introducing each session as we go. Thanks, Nick.
Howdy folks, my name's Nick Marshall and I'm a sports physiotherapist here at the Griffith University Health Clinics on the Gold Coast. Today we're looking at trigger ball massaging or trigger point massaging and how we can use a trigger ball to relax those tight and overworked muscles. Taking us through these exercises is cricketer Sam Heazlett, who isn't just a cricketer but is also studying physiotherapy here at Griffith University. So not only does he give us a fantastic demonstration, but also gives us a great explanation as to what he's actually achieving with those exercises. So let's let Sam take us through trigger ball massaging.
Hi everyone, Sam Heazlett here. I'm a cricketer with the Brisbane Heat, but I'm also a Griffith University physiotherapy student and part of the sports college. Today I'm going to run you through a few activities you can do to trigger point when you're at home and you don't need much help, don't need much equipment, something you can do by yourself. And if you're looking for something to do or listen to while you're doing these activities, I recommend the We Got the Chocolates podcast. Check it out on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Okay, so this is a calf trigger pointing activity. You can do it by sitting on the floor with the ball underneath your calf like this, or you can do it sitting down on a chair with a small, low height table in front of you with your calf and leg raised onto the table. So firstly, just moving your leg around to move the ball into a different part of your calf until you find a tender spot. Once you find a tender spot, you can rest your leg on that same spot for a while until the muscle starts to release and then move on to a different position. You can add some difficulty by putting the calf on stretch, so pulling your toes back towards you, or you can get a harder ball like a cricket ball and use that instead for a bit more pressure, and also use your hands to push your leg down into that ball. So you can try maybe 2 sets of 60 seconds with this activity, of course on both legs, but it might take longer depending on how many of those tender spots you've got. So this is a gluteal trigger point activity. So you can use a tennis ball, you can use a harder ball like a cricket ball, or a spiky ball if you've got one at home as well. I don't have one here, so I'm going to use a cricket ball, but it just depends how tender your glute is and how much pressure you want to get onto the muscle. So to do this, you're going to put the ball underneath the glute you wish to trigger point, and then you use your hands to take the weight off the body and your feet as well. And you can change the amount of weight you're putting through your glute and trigger pointing based off how much pressure you're putting through your hands. Okay, and then moving around, using your hands to move the ball around your glute until you find a tender area. Once you find a tender area, holding there for a while until the muscle then relaxes and the pressure is released. And you can also add some extra pressure by putting the muscle on stretch. So the same leg as your trigger pointing, putting it over your knee, putting your foot over your knee, and moving around in the same manner and holding on the tight areas. You can also adjust this slightly if you want to move under your hamstrings by simply putting the ball under your hamstrings and doing the same thing in a similar manner. However, with the leg that you're trigger pointing stretched out in front of you. Thoracic spine trigger pointing. Okay, so for this one, we're trying to release the tight muscles in our mid to upper back. To do so, get two balls and take them together. Could be golf balls or tennis balls like I've got here. Put them on your mat behind you, and you've got to try and place the balls either side of your spine when you're lying down onto the ball. Okay, so once I'm down into that position, I'm then putting all my weight onto those balls and trying to get my hands above my head. And from there, you can roll back and forward and find tender spots in that mid to upper back area and put more pressure through those spots, hold there for a few seconds until the muscle releases. Trigger pointing the trapezius. So for this, get a small ball such as a golf ball and place it on your shoulder muscles. Get there so that there's pressure on the ball through your upper shoulder muscles there, and moving your arm in a circular motion until you find a point that is most tender, and hold that for a few seconds. Then you can release once the muscle starts to release and move and try and find another tender spot. Rhomboid trigger pointing. So for this activity, we're going to use a tennis ball, and you can be sitting down with your back against the wall or standing up straight with your back against the wall. So you're going to put the tennis ball on your back in between your shoulder blade and your spine, and then put pressure through your back, through the wall, so the tennis ball is going into your rhomboids. Bring the arm on that side of your body that you're working across your body, using your other arm to help. Then move the ball around in that part of your rhomboid until you find a tender spot. Hold and apply more pressure to that area until you feel the muscle release.